All right, fantastic. Good evening to you, and welcome to another edition of Grow with Sunshine. In the spirit of IWD International Women's Day, today's edition is going to be dedicated to women. By the way, today is my birthday, so feel free to say happy birthday, Sunshine. All right. Last week we had a fantastic time on radio, and that was with Kelechuku KK Godfrey, where we talked about how to begin your financial journey. You know how it is on Grow with Sunshine. It's a program, where we're particular about the growth and the development of young people. So, everybody, welcome to another fantastic edition of Grow with Sunshine on Bright FM 98.7. And we are about to have a fantastic conversation. My guest is already in the studio. And like I would always say, it's always a time of it's always a beautiful time to just learn from persons, young people like us, who have showed us that things can be done, and this set of persons who are doing well for themselves inspire us to be the best that we can be. And we have one of those persons right here in the studio this evening. You'll soon be hearing her voice. But before that, let me introduce her. Her name is Ifunanya Nduka, and she is a dynamic leader in youth development, civic engagement, and women empowerment. She's also a dynamic media professional. She's a TV show host. She's a radio presenter, voiceover artist. In fact, she is a fantastic event MC, and she is right here with us in the studio this evening. Ifunanya, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Sunshine. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ifunanya, for being here. The first time I met Ifunanya, I was on stage. The second time I met Ifunanya again. No, the second time I now saw you. Then
Yes.
the third time
It was
you were
on stage again.
Ifunanya
Yes.
is a fantastic event MC, and she is one person who is doing well for herself as a young person. She's one of those young persons who have said to themselves that, regardless of what the time is saying in Nigeria, we must thrive. We must show others that it can be done.
Yes.
And as we're celebrating International Women's Day, she's one of those persons who is making sure that, young women are inspired to take one step forward, two steps forward, and just basically achieve their goals. Thank you so much, Ifunanya, for being here. It's an
Thank
honor
you.
to have you. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Now, this evening, we're going to be looking at the power of gratitude in accelerating women's leadership and development. This is that topic that you would really want to pay attention to. When we're talking about it, I'm like, gratitude. How are we going to have this conversation? Because it's not something that we really talk about.
True.
Yeah, so it's important that we have this conversation. So nothing official.
No
But also be calming down.
100%.
So for inspiration purposes, share with us, how it began for you. I think that in Abuja now, for every event that concerns young persons, if you just go there, you just see that it's even the same thing. I'm like, God.
Really?
The other humans. God, are we spoons? But yeah, but what I'm just trying to say is that you've grown. That's
Yes,
really you've been on a journey. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't get here just like that. So take us on a journey on how it began for you. Did you grow up in Abuja? Did you come to Abuja? How did you start, penetrating into fantastic spaces? How did you start putting yourself out there? Because it's going to be something that would inspire a young person, a young woman, who is listening to us this evening. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much,
I
Sunshine,
appreciate
for
you.
that kind introduction, and happy birthday as well. I was so excited when you told me today was your birthday. I'm like, girl,
My birthday
such
today.
an honor to be
Thank
having
you.
the conversation
Thank
with you
you.
as we celebrate
Thank you.
International Women's Day, and as we celebrate, more importantly, your birthday.
Yay! Thank you so
Happy
much.
birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So how did it start for me? This is a very interesting question because, I grew up in Abuja. I was born here.
Okay.
Yes, I've spent most of my life here. I left Abuja for school, and there was a point in my life that, we moved out of Abuja for a bit, and then we got back as
Okay.
well. So one thing that is true about me is that I'm a Jesus girl.
Okay.
I'm a believer.
Okay.
So I will ascribe every growth, every success, everything I've been able to achieve
Yeah.
throughout my career, personally and professionally,
To God.
To God, 100%.
Yes.
But then coming back again to what has happened, practically, physically, I think when it all changed for me, or when there was a moving in my head, was joining an organization while in school.
Okay.
The name of the organization is ISEC.
Okay.
So ISEC is the largest youth-run organization in the world. It's like a corporate organization, like it's proper NGO work, but students are working. So you have the talent management department, you have the operations, you have the product, like it's just like that. And I joined in 300 level.
Okay.
While in school, I was invited by a friend who was like a mentor to me at the time, and I was like, "Oh, Ifunanya, you're so interested in all of this." In fact, joining, I didn't even know it was that kind of organization. I just wanted, some organization.
A place I'll just give you expression, basically.
Yes, exactly. And he said, "Okay, I think I know the current president. You have conversations with her." So I did have conversations with her, and they were like, "Okay, cycle for recruitment will soon come, and then you get interviewed to join the team." So I got interviewed, I got selected to join the organization, and that was just the start of it. So I volunteered with ISEC, and it just really opened me up to a world of opportunities and possibilities. I would also like to add that before ISEC, the kind of family I come from also really helped as well. Like, they genuinely supported me. My dad would always say, "You can be whatever you want to be. You're going to be the president of Nigeria, you're going to be the governor of Enugu State." People there, they don't have two head. Sometimes my dad will even say, "Why can't you open your own church? You should go and be a pastor." So I got that kind of energy, encouragement from home early on, and I'm someone who was also interested in politics before getting into school. So backstory, I got into university, my 100 level, I ran for office in my department.
It's the audacity for me.
Girl.
100 level.
I did run for office. But there's just a lot of corruption. There's a lot of corruption in those associations.
Don't start me with that today.
So
Let's just move.
I just said, no, I can't find expression here, and that was how I moved into something else. So that was where it started. Did that after school, started working. In fact, my first job was through ISEC, because I hosted a conference. We do like this national conferences for ISEC. So I not hosted in that sense. So I was like conference committee president. So I was not the convener, but I managed the project. Yes, so I was like project manager for that. And the person who we invited to chair the conference was really, really impressed with what my team did. And shout out to my team, CC Wesabi. I don't know if any of them is listening. They were just superb. Fantastic, right? Yeah. So we did great. And then he said, "What are you doing after school? What's next for you?" I had just done my project defense at the time, and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do next, but I think I like HR and all of that. And he was like, "Okay, yeah, he runs a HR consulting company. Whenever I'm ready, I should let him know." This conversation was happening in January, and that thing, like, after school you're just like, what should I do next? And then there's a job waiting, literally, and I just wasn't sure I wanted that immediately. And then sometime
first, let me understand. You were not sure that you wanted the job that was waiting for you?
Honestly, like, it was like, maybe I should just rest.
I'm sure you're in this Nigerian society.
You
wanted to rest.
Girl. Quite interestingly, I accepted that offer on the 8th of March, International Women's Day.
Okay.
Yes. And so I started working people operations. I was still in Port Harcourt at the time. After some time, I came to Abuja, because I schooled in Port Harcourt, right? So when I came to Abuja, kept on doing that, attending conferences, meeting people, and all of that. And just went on beautiful trajectory, got client, did my HR stuff for them, people operations, and then it just felt tiring and repetitive, right? Then sometime in 2023, remember, I have a background as a volunteer, so even till now I'm a professional volunteer.
Fantastic.
Right? So I was volunteering for this organization, not like a company, not like volunteering. There was a conference coming up, and I was part of volunteers for the conference, not like volunteering for the organization as a whole. So it was Connect Conference 2023, and I was part of the volunteers for it. And the convener, Joseph Etim, was like, how you enjoying the process and all of that, and it was good. It was good, and I just told him out of nowhere, I want to host this conference. I had never hosted a conference on that level. It was, the best I had done was to host ISEC
Just,
events in my school.
Or smaller events.
Yes, smaller things, because I used to be the life of the party. So people always say, if I just get us excited, manage the flow of activities and all of that. But guess what? Like, why can't I do this? And it was just something I felt like, I can absolutely do this. I've seen people do it. It's not something hard. So I told him, Joseph, I want to host this event. And it's like, do you have experience? I said, not really. And it's like, okay, I'll get back to you. And then he got back to me and said, you can host it. There's a co-host. You can just join him. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Now, this is an event of about 1,000 people.
And fantastic A-list guest speakers.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that event.
And that was my first event. And all I had to do was ask, right? I was volunteering already, so he made it easier to ask. I didn't just come into his DM.
you know, and part of the reasons why we tell some of these stories is so that we pick out very important points. You talked about volunteering today. I'm a product of volunteering. And some of our guests on Grow with Sunshine, also on Bright FM, has pointed out how that they started out with volunteering. And you know how it is that in this age and time, a lot of persons trivialize volunteering because people just want to be paid for everything.
Yes.
You're just coming out of school. You're not thinking, what should I give back? You're thinking, what should I get?
Yes.
And you're forgetting how that is in giving that you get. And it's one beautiful thing. Aside the fact that you had support, from your family, there are a lot of persons who would say, oh, Sunshine, I don't have support. Okay, that's by the side. But volunteering is something that everybody who wants to excel, who wants to move forward, journeys into. What is that thing that you're really interested in? Ifunanya pointed out that she knew what she wanted. Do you understand? So when you see, that's why it's important, because I've taught about self-discovery and personal development and all of that. That's why it's important to even understand what you want for yourself, so that when you see what looks like it, you journey towards that. And she pointing out volunteering now, and also how that doors began to open to her or open up for her at the place where she was volunteering.
Yes.
And there's no way you volunteer for an A-list event like that. People will be saying, they paid you, you cashed out. You might not have even cashed out, but you don't know what is now awaiting for you by reason of just volunteering for that particular event. So I think it's a very beautiful thing that you just pointed out from yourself. And I mean, that's why it's important for us to share our stories and our journeys, so that people take out a thing or two. So if you're a woman, because we're still celebrating IWD, we're pushing women to be more for themselves.
Absolutely.
And it's a good place to start. Volunteering. What do you want for yourself? See, nobody is going to come to your house and feed you with anything. You go out there and you get it. If Ifunanya did not say, okay, you know what, this position, I've not done it before, but it looks like something I can do, and if you were not an insider at that point, somebody else would have taken that role.
That's true.
And you just be it would just be another day that just passed. One of those days.
Yeah.
Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? So the audacity to see what you want and put in a word for yourself, the least you will hear is no.
I'm telling you, that's, what else?
The least you're going to hear is no. And who has no ever killed? No has never killed anybody.
I don't think it's killed anybody.
So it's important. Two major things to just take out from the story that Ifunanya shared with us now. Number one, volunteering is important. When you see a place to serve, by all means serve. You don't know the doors that you're going to be opening for yourself, the quality of persons you're going to be meeting in the place where you're volunteering. And also, don't write yourself off before other people write you off. The audacity to say, I want to do it and I can do it. Get the offer first, then go and start preparing. Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? So
Yes.
these are the two things I think that, I mean, it stood out for me from this particular story. And shout out to you, Ifunanya. Thank you so much for, persevering. I mean, because if all of these things didn't happen to you, you won't be sharing with us now. If you did not
True.
open yourself up to some of these experiences also, you won't be sharing with us. Now, let's also look at how this impacts, this International Women's Day. And I just want you to talk to our young girls out there. A lot is happening these days, Ifunanya. I mean, we are media people, so every other time we hear, stuff's happening to the female gender. It's just a lot. I don't even want to start going into details. And these things have the tendency to want to shut a girl down before they even stand up. So I want you to speak to, young ladies, young girls who are listening to us at this time, even as we celebrate International Women's Day, just basically inspiring them and encouraging them to be more for themselves before we now delve into gratitude for the evening.
Okay. So, young ladies, young girls, what I will start by saying is that you are not entitled to anything. However, you are entitled to a level playing ground. So you know how sometimes we talk about how the opportunities are just not tallying, it's not equal, and we then make it seem like ladies should be given just any room or any slot regardless of what capacity they have. Now we must move away from that to seeing how we can build ourselves as young women, how we can step up, how we can take courses, how we can learn, how we can be intentional about our growth, how we
Yes.
can volunteer. And then we must then start talking about how we can impact or implement some of these things that we've learned from different places into whatever role or opportunity
Implementation,
that we
very
find
important.
ourselves
Yes,
in.
yes.
I work in HR, and I worked in HR for a bit before now as well. And I see that when people come to interviews, men exude this level of confidence. Even if they don't have as much experience, they don't have as much work level, they don't know as much, but they're just able to share their stories. And I always wonder, why aren't women able to replicate this level of confidence when they have just about the same result? So sometimes we find ourselves shooting ourselves in the foot.
leg, yeah.
And I can't, take away the fact around, societal regulations that might have made women not to be that confident, cultural barriers, issues they face from their homes. These things are real, but we must move
Religion,
away.
tradition, just about a lot of things.
Exactly.
Yes.
But we must move away from having those things as complete hindrances. We must try to start walking our way out. I believe that most women that we see thriving, rising, flying, they had to intentionally detach themselves from these barriers. They had to work on themselves. They had to create this mindset and then move into the marketplace, move into the workforce, and be the best versions of themselves they could be. So women have to move away from a place of self-pity, because it seems like that is something that we just always want to latch on. Like, I didn't get this. My dad sent my younger brother to school before me. In class, I was better, but they picked the boy to be class prefect. Those things are valid. They are real. We apologize. They are true. They are your reality. But what next? But how can you come out of that and inspire the next generation of women? How can you come out of that and be a better mother to your girl child? How can you come out of that and be a better leader to your subordinate? We must start considering the next steps. I'm somebody who genuinely didn't like when people always say these kind of things, but growing up I realized that it is the truth. These realities are real.
Yes.
It's hard, it's bad, we've gone through a lot, there's a lot. 100% I apologize, but what next? How do we move away from this? People have had really, really dark, really rough parts in the past, and they're able to just create a beautiful story out of it. And the thing about creating a beautiful story out of whatever thing that you're experiencing is that it creates a ripple effect. So just one you're influencing thousands of women because they can relate to your story and they're seeing that this happened to this person and they came out of it. So why can't I? You know, so that is something I would say to young women. Move away from self-pity. Understand that you are not entitled to a position just because you're a woman, but because you're competent. So start working towards competence.
You have value to bring to the table.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, we can't take away from the fact that there is some level of imbalance, even when competent women and competent men come. But get that competence, get that knowledge, then we start conversations from there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And shout out to, the women who walked so that we can run.
Absolutely.
Shout out to the women who ran so that we can fly. Shout out to the likes of Okonjo Iweala.
Yes.
Shout out to the likes of Chimamanda Adichie. Just shout out to these amazing women. And Ifunanya, there's one thing I keep saying, and is that women are life givers. And when we talk about, the ability to give life, it's not just about birthing children. We have just streamlined it to just birthing children. It's much more than that. You can give life to ideas. You can birth ideas. You can give life to your dreams. You can give life to your goals. You can build something from the scratch and watch it just become. You are a life giver, for crying out loud. It is when you don't understand the ability that you have to give life that you don't take advantage of it. Women are fantastic, and you see it in when they are given responsibilities to handle and how they carry these responsibilities. I mean, they give it their 100. You know how it is that it's innate to nurture and build and guide. So it makes that we transfer that ability to every other thing that we lay our hands on. So, and that is why what Ifunanya just said now makes a lot of sense. The time where you pitied yourself is now in the past. As at the time of this conversation, you need to understand who you are as a woman, what you have to bring to the table, the opportunities that life, technology, the world has presented to you. Understand your ability to also fight. Do you understand? Because nobody is handing you anything on a platter.
Yes.
And go for it with that understanding that you are a life giver. I mean, we're saying all of these things to say that as a girl who is listening to this amazing woman who is my guest here this evening, she has done it. It means that you can do it. And part of the reasons why we bring young people here is so that you know that young people like you are doing these things. So if they can do it, you can also do it. The difference between you and Ifunanya right now is that she took steps. She took audacious steps. She said, you know what, I'm not staying back. My back will not be on the floor, on the ground. I'm going to stand up and move. When people don't give me a chance, I'm going to give myself a chance for crying out loud.
100.
Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? So the pity party, as at the time of this conversation, is over. Understand who you are as a woman. Understand what you have to bring to the table. She talked about, growing, building, impacting yourself, even if it's to take course, whatever it is, just make sure you're building a skill that will give you the opportunity to also, come out when others are coming out.
Yes.
The opportunity to also flex your muscle when others are flexing their muscle.
You need to fight.
Do you understand? So that when things are handed to you, they are handed to you because of the value that you bring to the table, not because of your gender. Amen?
Amen, sister.
I mean, we just went deep a bit, but it's really very important to remind women who they are. I mean, even as we're celebrating, the International Women's Day today. Now we're moving to our topic. Let me even ask you, because this is a fantastic topic. We're looking at the power of gratitude in accelerating women's leadership and development. And I'm sorry, I want to just put you on the spot for a bit. What were you thinking when you thought of this topic? I mean, gratitude, really?
Okay, so, I mean, the theme for this year's International Women's Day is Accelerate Action. And I'm thinking, right, there's so many things that could accelerate action. And, you know, I made a post across my social media yesterday on the power of mentorship and leadership.
Yes.
How it can accelerate action. It's incredibly important. It can accelerate action. And I also said something in that post. How, regardless of what we're doing, we're accelerating action. Because when you look at it, inaction is action.
Yes.
So if you are making somebody inactive, you're accelerating that action in them. So when we look at ourselves from that point of view, that we have this power to accelerate action in this next person, what then is the action that we want to accelerate, right? So now I'm bringing it back to gratitude.
So what we're talking about accelerate, for people who maybe they'll say, this Bright FM people, this can't be accelerating.
please.
So we're basically saying to increase something, to give it volume. Do you understand? So that we'll be on the same page.
Exactly. You know, like accelerate action is like to make action more viable out there. Like we've been doing, okay, how do we make this doing a lot more?
How do we 10x it?
Exactly. So now, the place of gratitude.
Yes.
So, you know, a lot of research on leadership, on development, focuses on, you know, leadership styles, especially when it comes to the workplace. But we often overlook another very important ingredient, which is a micro element of leadership, as, you know, I like to call it, which is gratitude, which is, you know, maybe even before I say gratitude, which is evoking certain emotions in the people that you're leading or you're working with. And gratitude is something that I have really understood the power of. So I started doing something I call 100 days of gratitude in 2023.
Okay.
This is going to be the third year that we're doing it.
Fantastic.
So from the 1st of April up until the next 100 days, I'm going to shine light on something I'm grateful for every day. And it's something that has just been amazing. I've gotten tremendous testimonies and feedback from people who has joined that challenge, right? And we're taking it a notch higher this year by the grace of God. So I understand the power of gratitude in our personal lives, how it can make us, you know, look at things from a different point of view, and how it can make us enjoy life better. There's a time where my WhatsApp about was the core of my existence is enjoyment. People usually misunderstood that. It's not like I just wanted to eat all the time and have fun and dance. You know, it just meant that I want to look at everything from a point of, am I enjoying this thing? Okay, this work, am I enjoying it? But how can you even enjoy things when you're not thankful for it? So you have to be grateful. So that gratitude thing is something that I just feel it's important. We are emotional beings, but we don't express or talk about our emotions when it comes to place of leadership and development. And why not? It's not a one size fits all. It's not just gratitude that is needed for development, but it's an important ingredient that is often overlooked. So that is where the idea for the topic and conversation came.
And you know that, you know, talking about this now and with where we're at as a people, you realize how that people no longer focus a lot of energy on some of the little things that are even going well for them. They are looking at the big things, in quotes, that are out of place in their life at the time. So it makes that you now trivialize some of those powerful little things that are happening in your life at the time that you should be grateful for. You know, sometimes I think, so sometimes when you're asking someone, how are you? I beg, I know they're okay, I beg, you know, country hard, everything is going wrong. Your life. You even have mouths to say that everything is going wrong. You know that it's not everybody that have mouths to say that everything is going wrong. You know, you ate something this morning, you're breathing, you're not on oxygen somewhere, you know. Just thinking about it now, I see how that even with my Nigerian people, my Nigerian women, we shine our lights on every other thing that is going wrong and not one thing that is going right. And we forget that whatever you focus on grows.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Exactly.
So it makes that the more you are grateful, my phone lines are buzzing. If so, you guys, if you've been following this program for for a bit, you know that we do text messages on this program because of our timing. Because I know you people, if I leave you people, we keep talking and talking, right? So our phone, our WhatsApp is there. Just send us a text message in case maybe you want to ask Ifunanya anything, or you want to just share your own thoughts, 0901 615 0614, 0901 615 That is our WhatsApp line. You can always, I encourage you to send us a text on this particular program because of our timing. Shout out to everybody who's trying to, buzz us on our direct line. Now, before I lost, before I just moved to my people who were buzzing us, I was just trying to point out how that whatever it is that you focus on, it grows, and the importance of also trying to pay attention to those very little things that happen every day in our lives that power us. You understand? The ability for you to breathe and wake up every morning. Not everybody has that even as we speak now. That's but true. You have it. It's something to be grateful for. And when you talked about 100 days of gratitude, it just lit something up in my head, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you guys serious right now? And you see how that is something that if you're particular about and you keep doing it, there's something that it does to your mind. It makes that you now begin to focus on those little things that are good, and by the time you keep doing that every other day, it magnifies. Yes. It's such a beautiful thing, and thank you so much for pointing it out. It's just also trying to let people know that no matter what is going on in your life right now, there's something you can be grateful. Yes. Even as we are talking now, check yourself. Yes. There's really one thing, two things that you can be grateful for at this point. Now, moving forward to how this can help in accelerating women's leadership and development. Talk to us about that.
Okay, so we acknowledge that gratitude is an important, catalyst for our own personal development. Yes. And we acknowledge that human beings are emotional beings. Now, who is working? The women in these organizations, in these communities, they are people. And they're people who are emotional beings, right? I asked early on today to think about the last time that your boss gave you a genuine compliment. Last time that your boss said, Sunshine, this thing really worked out because of the hours you spent on it. Thank you so much for that. What
is it like boss in Nigeria? Is boss in the abroad? Which of the boss are you talking about?
Boss in Nigeria. So what that does for a couple of people I've had conversations with is it makes you want to outdo that thing, because this made them feel good, and this actually had tangible impact in the project that we're working on, and my boss acknowledged it. I feel good about that. I'm happy to contribute to this organization the way I can. What can I do better next time? Again, you don't want to have that as a benchmark for you showing up and doing your job. But the truth is that because we're emotional beings, when certain emotions are sparked in us, we just act in accordance to it. When you bring a boss who expresses gratitude, somebody who tells you, you really impacted this grant that we got, you really impacted this proposal that we sent out, and somebody who says, I don't need you guys now. I did everything. Without you, I would have done everything. I can do the work of a finance person. I can do the work of a graphic designer. I can do the work of everybody. Who do you think will have people stay with them and develop themselves while in that organization? So women leadership can start from those small things that we sometimes often overlook. And it transcends the workplace. But let me stay on the workplace for a beat, right? So you're working in an organization and you have a boss who's just always shining light on the contribution you're making to the team, not as not in an insincere way, not in a way that they are trying to cajole you or manipulate you, in a way that they are genuinely acknowledging the impact that you're making in the team, right? You as an individual, you're a team lead, you're leading other people. The probability of you extending that kind of grace and emotion to the people you're leading increases.
100%.
And that makes you a better leader.
Yes.
Right? That in that sense accelerates your own leadership capabilities to the next person. Because if you are working with a prideful boss that is always saying, oh, I don't need you, you are sharing that frustration with the next person.
It's
and
energy you're just transferring.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the next person could be an intern who is just out of school, and they're like, oh, is this how work is? I didn't know. I can't be a leader. I don't want to be a female leader. I think I'll just relax. I don't want
Female bosses are wicked.
Exactly, so you truncate that leadership and development in that next person. But when you're able to express this level of gratitude and it transcends into the next intern who speaks to the next intern in that kind of way as well, you see that leadership is built one way or the other, right? And then moving away from the workplace, we are in the communities. We are all part of a family unit. We all stay in societies and communities. There's a young girl who you see who is selling akara by the street or just running a kiosk, and you're like, thank you so much, your akara is nice. Your akara tastes good, the oil isn't too much, I really, really enjoyed it. That empowers her in a way that you may never know. That empowers her to be a kinder leader to her siblings at home. She's a first child and you're telling her how you did well. She goes back home and she's kinder to her siblings. Imagine you come and say, I beg, give me a car, make I truck, make I dey go where I dey go. It doesn't make her feel some type of way. So we are very emotional beings as human beings, and then we almost always downplay the importance of the emotions that our activities evoke in the next person. And I'm just shining light on gratitude because it's something that is very personal to me, and it's something I think is very, very important. A simple thank you, a simple I appreciate you, a simple you have been an important fabric in this home, in this office, in this community, goes a long, 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 long way. And when we look at it from the lens of gratitude, when we have conversations with people, you hear that when gratitude is being expressed to them, they show up better, they take their courses with more intentionality, they are kinder to the people they are working with, they learn more on the job, they learn more in the family, in the society, in their community, so it's really beautiful. It has incredible ripple effect, but it is often overlooked. So I think that is what I would like to say about the power of gratitude in accelerating women leadership and development.
And you see, let me also just paint a little example now. Just think of when last you just dressed up, walking on the street, and somebody just said, sister, is your hair fine? If the percentage of the confidence that she left the house with was 50,
exactly,
it's going to be 150%. And you see, sometimes when there was a day I was coming to work, I was really frustrated because I was trying to meet up, and the from the gates of my estate to my office place, if you look at the distance, you be angry, and I was still trying to meet up and all, and I was just walking very fast, and one lady who was jogging, she was just passing, she just paused and turned, she said, your perfume is nice. Hey, chickens, yes, sunshine. I just slowed down first. Thank you so much, ma. And it brightened me up. Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? There's sometimes that you're just, you're maybe it's even a bad day that you're having, or maybe you're just having one of those usual days, and somebody just passes one nice compliment. And you see what it does to your confidence, what it does to your self-esteem, what it does to when you now want to dress up again.
Exactly.
Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? So it makes that because more people complimented the scents or the perfumes that you wear, you want to look out for something like that again next time, because it's that thing that you were talking about, emotions and the roles that it plays and how we downplay it. And it's something that we really need to begin to pay attention to in our workplaces, in our everyday lives, just as Ifunanya pointed out. If you are somebody who pays attention to always complimenting people, you don't know what you're doing to the minds of those people. Why we're streamlining this to young women is because, I'm sorry, this is International Women's Day. When is Men's Day? We do the needful.
Talk about the men.
So, but it makes that when you see a young girl who is trying to survive, do you understand? In one little way or the other, your kind words can be a reason why they don't give up. Your kind words
That's true.
can be the reason why they want to keep moving. Your kind words can be the reason why they wake up the next morning and continue.
Absolutely.
And talking about it also in our workplaces, that's why before we delve into this particular topic for today, we had to shout out to the women who gave us wings to fly.
Yes.
And it's because there are women who have grown because somebody took them by the hand and somebody gave them a shoulder to climb.
Yes.
And sometimes you say, we don't have money. I don't have money. I don't have time. I don't have. You point out all of the things that you don't have to offer to somebody's growth and development. But how about your words of affirmation? How about kindness? How about the nice things that you say to people that will push them forward? And it was one time on LinkedIn, because I'm a UX writer. I write,
Okay.
for websites and for apps and all, and it was somebody who was trying to talk down on new UX writers, on his post. And one other senior UX writer came on board and said, let's make it a habit, of encouraging these people. You were once a novice.
Yes, sir.
There was a time when you did not know nothing about whatever skill it is that you are very good at this time. There was a time that you were, what's that thing? A JJC.
Yes.
Do you understand?
A beginner.
A beginner. You knew nothing about it. Don't trivialize those times. That you are now an expert is because you were on a journey. Whether it was a good journey or a bad journey, everybody knows how their growth and all of that is. You shouldn't even, because maybe you had a terrible journey growing, you don't even need you need to use that as a reason to make another person feel terrible during their growth journey. Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? So it makes that we need to be able to normalize this thing about pushing people forward.
Yes.
You see, part of the issues that we have, even as women, is that we have this thing called crab mentality. Everybody wants to push everybody down and rise. So that's why sometimes when you keep saying things like women supporting women, even the women that are screaming it, they don't even agree. Because in situations where a woman should have supported a woman,
She didn't.
you just see the opposite. Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? So for every time there's a little something that you can do to push somebody forward, to help somebody's growth, to help somebody's development, both in your workplace, all spheres of life, and that brings me to parenting for a bit, please. And I think that you should also touch on it, because African parents are the last people that we see. That used to say that African parents, they are all in the same WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
So because sometimes the things that you experience in your family, somebody will just the exact same thing, and you're like, but my mom just do me this thing for us. So it's your mom and my mom. How far did they have meeting? And all of that.
Agreement. Somewhere they meet somewhere.
So and I also want you to speak to because why this is important is because there are young girls who are going to be women tomorrow.
Yes.
And their growth process, their journey is what is going to determine what their future is going to look like. And our parents have a huge huge role,
Yes.
to play. So I want you to also speak to parents regarding, the power of gratitude, because parents find it really very difficult to say thank you, find it really very difficult to point out some of the good things that their children are doing, find it very difficult to, compliment their children. But, my there was a time my younger brother even had to say to my dad, that but the ones that I'm doing, have you ever even the ones that I do and I do it right?
Yes.
Have you ever even said that this one that I did it right? But if it's the one that I did not do right, you will flog it and
amplify
flog
it.
it and flog it, and even after 5 years, when I do something wrong again, you bring back all of the other things that I did wrong. But there's never a time when you the same way also amplify some of the things
Yes.
that I do right. So I also want you to speak to that, especially, with some of our young teenage girls, who are, growing at the time.
Okay. So the family unit is a unit that is very, very important, and it's a
Yes.
unit that is very close to my heart because I understand how important it is. I think we don't even get to talk about how important it is. It is extremely important.
I agree.
A lot of values, a lot of adults that turn out to be great people, a lot of adults that turn out to be menace in the society. When you trace it back, you almost
so everybody's
always
from a home.
find,
Yes.
its leanings from a family. I think people always say we need to give our parents grace. They didn't have the learning, they didn't have access, they didn't have the information and all of that. That's fine. Now, we as young people who will become parents tomorrow, what are the things that we have to pay attention to? Research has shown that if you don't intentionally try to walk your way, you will be an exact replica of your parents. That your father that you said, you don't like the way he was,
Behaves.
if you don't pay attention to it, that's the father you will be to your children. That your mother that say, she doesn't used to say nice things to me, she's always shouting. If you don't pay attention to, if you don't intentionally try to detach or heal from whatever it is that reality has, impacted in you or brought up in you, that's the exact same mother you will be tomorrow, right? On so many levels, the research has been carried out, a lot of specimens, right? And we see that we are exact replicas of our parents when we become parents. Now, young people listening who don't want to be that way, who don't want to be a parent that is not expressing gratitude to their children, who don't want to be a parent that just always amplifies the wrong, you are a mistake, you're a terrible child, I wish I didn't give birth to you. Some people say those kind of things to go to that level of extremism rather. And what I would say is, come to yourself, intentionally look at yourself and be honest. Identify patterns that are already in line with where you're coming from, and see how best you can detach yourself from this pattern. I think one problem that a lot of parents have is, maybe this might not be the right word, but I would like to call it pride. That thing that makes them think that no matter how we won't be, I'm the person that gave birth to you, so I am above you, I'm always right 100%. No matter how we won't be, I'm the person that gave birth to you, so you don't deserve my thank you. You should be grateful that you are living under my roof. And I always wonder, I'm sure that there was no part of my life that I came to say, daddy and mommy, I want people to have that thing and conceive me and give birth to me. I am very certain I don't beg you to give. You gave birth to me, so take your responsibility. So you want to pay attention to ensuring that you're not that parent that sees your children as below you, right? Because when pride comes, then there's no room for gratitude. Understand that these people are individuals of themselves.
Yes.
Understand that your words has impact. And one way to understand is for you to think back to the impact of the words that were said to you.
You know, understand.
So understand that your words have incredible, immense impact in the lives of people around you, especially your children. Children look up to their parents as their heroes, their leaders, rightly so. So you are in the strategic position to ensure that these children that you've birthed, some maybe you didn't even birth them, you could be a leader, you could be a school teacher, you consider them your children, you could be teaching in the children department of your church or your, wherever, whatever religion that you identify with, and you consider them your children. You cannot express gratitude when you are prideful. So you have to pay attention to pride and drag it down, so that you can express gratitude. Oh, thank you so much for pointing that out. Oh, thank you so much for showing up. Oh, mommy, this is a bowl of rice. I noticed that you've not eaten all day. Don't say, I beg, go keep that rice. Which one be? Say I never chop. Are you with me? Are you?
If I want chop, I know where to go.
You understand? If I want chop, I know where. Well, no, be me cook am. Who tells I no chop? I say, no. Say, oh, thank you so much, my darling. You're so thoughtful. Affirm them at that point. You're so thoughtful. It's so kind of you to bring this food to me, but I'm not hungry right now, or I've eaten. We have to be intentional about affirming. We have to be intentional about not being prideful, because it's pride that will make you say, what do you mean? You think I don't have sense? That if I don't want to eat, I'll not go and know where there's food?
Ifunanya, I'm sorry for pausing you for a bit. And you know that when you see young people who are also intentional about this gratitude thing, go back to their houses.
Yes.
You see where it's coming from.
Yes.
Some of the behavior that we're seeing in the society, you can trace it back to the family. So it makes that if you find it difficult to apologize to your children when they mix up with people, they find it difficult to apologize to people. When you find it difficult to say nice things to people, to your children, to affirm your children, to say thank you when you need to say thank you, to say I am sorry. Hello, daddy and mommy. To say I'm sorry when you're in the wrong. African parents, they have their way of saying
they have
sorry.
their way. Is it that thing that is you're still carrying face for?
Or they come and collect 2 pieces of meat.
Do you understand? me I like mangoes. My mom will say, I bought mango for you.
We know you have your way around these things, but you need to remember that your children are going to leave your houses when they are mixed up with people.
Yeah. And
you know how it is that the scripture says that you should train up a child, right? And there's just so much. This conversation has just brought to light, and I just really hope that the person who is listening to us this evening just takes it and just
I hope so too.
I don't know, just takes it all in and sees what to do with this conversation. Gratitude does a thing to a person's mind.
Yes.
It helps you improve. It helps you want to do better. Even with the way that you talk to people, even with the way that you look, with the way that you carry out your everyday activities. Gratitude has the ability to increase productivity, if you ask me. And a lot of bosses, just like we pointed out today, a lot of women who are in power, who are in leadership positions, need to intentionally, for every time somebody does well, if awards didn't matter, awards is also a way of showing gratitude.
Yes.
If awards didn't matter, if gratitude didn't matter, people would not be taking awards seriously.
It's true.
It's just a way of saying we see you.
Yes.
We see all of the things that you've been doing over the years. We've seen the hard work that you've been putting in. Have you seen an organization where they are doing best worker of the year? This person came early the most this year. This person did this person did that. Check the performance of those people the next year.
Yes. And research has also gone to show that organizations that emphasize that level of appreciation for their team members also perform better than organizations that don't acknowledge team members in that way.
Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? So this is a very valid conversation and just having it, we're looking at, the power of gratitude. And just with what Ifunanya has shared with us this evening, you understand that really gratitude is powerful. And, we even gave examples with, the everyday activities that happen. See, even as a fine tush girl, when you come out and a bus conductor says,
Kai.
you're looking fine. Hey, sister, you're looking so fine. See, no matter how much you want to form, something in your mind just loves and appreciates that somebody said, oh, you look good.
Yeah.
Oh, so gratitude does a lot. And even for parents with raising your children, the more you even amplify the good things that they do and show gratitude, the better results that you get with parenting. It's not every time bars, you're beating, you're shouting, you're screaming. Amplify some of those things that they did right. Show gratitude, and you see them putting more effort to want to do something that is going to make you, I say, oh, you did this. I see.
Yes.
See, there's nobody who doesn't like to hear, I see you. I see the efforts that you bring to the table. When I joined, there was an organization I joined, and when I started, the head of the leader, brought me to the office one time to say, oh, Sunshine, you're doing so well with this thing. Yeah, I told everybody that I know that deal. I say, my boss say I'm doing well. And because of the caliber of person that these kind of words are coming out from, coming from, you're just pushed to want to do more, for them, and also thereby doing better for yourself. And you see how that, that's why, when we talk about the power of gratitude in accelerating both, the development of women and their leadership abilities, you see how that this is just like really something that we really need to pay attention to. I know that we touched more on the women today, but this cuts across, our men, our women, everybody. Gratitude is something that you need to take seriously, and even in your day-to-day life, your day-to-day activities, take out time every time to ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? What happened? Yes, I know that there was basketballs, I know that I was stressed, I know that our country, this one, but what's that one thing that I can sit back and say, Kai, I'm grateful for this particular thing? By the time you start pointing out all of those things and noting it and paying attention to it, you give yourself and both the universe reasons to also bring more things that you would be grateful for. Fantastic conversation this evening, Ifunanya. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't even know how to thank you enough. Please just advise, just I don't know, last words for our young people, young women listening.
All right, so last words will be, gratitude is attainable, gratitude is achievable. It's not just a fancy word, it's not just a fancy idea. It's something you can do. You can start by having a gratitude journal where at the end of the day, you just write out things you're grateful for. Let me tell you, sometimes all I'm grateful for is the fact that I entered a public transport and I was the only person that sat in the front seat. If you're in Abuja, you know that two people normally sit in front and it's very uncomfortable. And I would genuinely document today, I'm grateful that I sat alone in the front seat in a public transport. Don't try to overcomplicate it. Just intentionally
don't say it's not that deep. It's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep.
So intentionally look and acknowledge some of these beautiful things. Right now, I was sitting here a few moments ago. I was just grateful that it's mango season, that I have mango waiting for me at home. So
thank you.
Just intentionally implement gratitude in your daily life.
Fantastic conversation.
Thank you so
today.
much.
Fantastic conversation today. Shout out to Ifunanya, Nduka. Just like I pointed out earlier, she's a big deal in Abuja. She's a fantastic person, a young person doing well for herself in the media world, in the HR world, women empowerment world. She's a big deal. She just took out time to come sit with us on Grow with Sunshine this evening to just, share her thoughts with us, her knowledge. I mean, I feel like you poured into us. It's something that if a young person who is listening, takes it in and decides to do something with it, is really going to benefit them. And on this program, we used to always say that it's not information that is power, that is applied information, that is powerful. And I just really hope that You're going to apply what you learned today. Thank you again, Ifunanya.
Thank you too.
Thank you. I hope that next time when we call on you, you'll
Please,
answer
absolutely.
us.
You have really beautiful space.
Thank you. You guys, this is where we're going to be calling it an evening on Grow with Sunshine on Bright FM 98.7 Abuja every other Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. We sit down with fantastic young people to talk about issues that resonate with young people like us, issues that will help us, grow and become better. Young people, I told us now in 2025, productivity, more money.
Yes,
we
so-
agree or we agree. There's no room for negativity. Not. I'll see you guys next time. That will be next Sunday, same time, same station. Thank you one more time, Ifunanya.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.